Hi there, my name is Benji Portnoy and I am the founder of SavorMyLife.com, and here on day one of our video series I'm here savoring a nice fire and enjoying the night, and I wanted to share with you our topics for day one here, which are conversation and connection. And what we're going to get into today have to do with keeping conversation going. So I get asked quite a bit. People have problems approaching other people or whatever it is because they're scared they're going to run out of things to say. So what I wanted to cover today to begin with are 4 safe topics for conversation to keep things rolling along even when you feel like you have nothing to talk about. So there are 4 topics that I generally use when I feel like I'm running out of conversation topics or things to say. Number 1 is music. When it comes to music, virtually everybody enjoys some type of it. You have so many options on finding music today. So you can approach somebody, or whether you're at a party or meeting somebody for the first time at a bar, and ask them what kind of music they're into. Obviously you want to pad this conversation a little bit moving up to it, but when it comes time to talk about it, I ask people what kind of bands they're into, what style of music, and inevitably everybody says, oh, I'm into everything, I listen to everything. But you can ask specifically, well, are you into hard rock, are you into hip-hop, metal, classical, whatever? Do you go see live bands ever? Where do you find new music? What kind of stuff have you been listening to for a long time? Stuff along those lines really works well. So that's music. Next one is movies, because virtually everybody watches movies in one way or another, and there's so many ways to see movies these days. So you can ask somebody, do you go out to the movies? Do you go to the movie theater? Do you get stuff off of Netflix? What kind of movies do you like to watch? Did you just see this one that came out? How did you like the acting in it? What did you think of the special effects? Stuff like that. Anything along those lines works really well. The next one, this is my own personal favorite for obvious reasons, is food. Now, when it comes to food, there are so many different ways. Everybody eats, but is it, you can ask people, well, do you go out to eat? Where do you like to go? Do you get food delivered? What's your favorite kind of food? So there's so many questions you can ask in relation to food. Start with that. And finally, the last one in that series is travel, because everybody at one time or another loves to travel. And if they don't actually actively travel, they'd like to go somewhere. So where's somewhere you've never been before? Have you ever been to Australia? Have you ever been to England? Have you ever been outside the state you're actually in? And that's assuming you're in the States. If you're outside the States, somewhere else in the world, have you ever been to the United States? Where have you been? What kind of people were there? All kinds of options, all sorts of ways to talk about things. And to tack one more on there, what's something that's coming up around the time you're talking? Are there any current events? Are there any holidays that are coming up? Christmas, New Year's, Easter, somebody's bar mitzvah, whatever it is. There are always things coming up that you can ask somebody about, and ask them what they're doing, what they did, if they're going to get to see family or friends, anything along those lines. So one more thing before we sign off here today. I want to give you a really powerful technique for conversations, and that's called using open-ended questions. With open-ended questions, you're basically asking a question for which the person cannot give you a 1 or 2 word answer. You're asking a question that's going to get them to start talking and give you a full response, so then you can respond to that. So an example of a closed-ended question would be, let's say you're asking about somebody's summer. Did you have a good time this summer? They have the option at that point of saying, yeah, or no, or yeah, sort of. But if you ask them, what did you do this summer that was fun? That way they have to give you more of an answer. Granted, they can say something along the lines of, oh, I didn't really do anything. But you can still ask more specifically, well, did you go anywhere this summer? Or where did you go this summer? Where did you go on vacation? Or what did you do when it was so hot outside? You know, that's the type of thing that's going to get more of an answer and going to keep the conversation going a little longer. That does three things. Number one, it helps direct the conversation. It helps you direct the conversation so it actually goes somewhere. Number two, it takes the pressure off of you to keep the whole thing rolling, because that way you have more of a dialogue. And finally, it gives you clues as to strings you can pull to keep the thing going and where to go next, because obviously that person is giving you something that you can ask more about. So listen to those clues, follow those strings, and you can keep the conversation going. Just make sure you're an active listener in what's going on. When they give you a response, don't just be thinking of the next thing you got to say. Listen to what they say, and that'll clue you in as to what to talk about and what to ask about. So thanks for listening. This is our day one video in the Savor My Life video series here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.